Hello and welcome to UMD News for this hour. I am Shimelis M, Gebremichael. In the headlines, after Tigray war, Ethiopia in need of $1.4 billion to rebuild. Tigray forces commander says disarmament linked to Eritarian Amhara forces withdrawal. Tigray's chief negotiator expressed his concern over the implementation modalities of the peace process. And now we'll move into the news in details. We invite you all to stay with the program. In the meantime, please do not forget to like and share our programs and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is UMD News with me, Shimelis M, Gebremichael, coming to you live via Horn Broadcasting Services HBS and through other social media platforms. First up, after Tigray war, Ethiopia in need of $1.4 billion to rebuild. The Ministry of Health has confirmed the federal government of Ethiopia needs $1.4 billion to rebuild health facilities across the northern region. The ministry has cited massive looting in Tigray and neighboring Amhara and Afar regional states, where it noted the two-year-old war was fiercely fought. Recalling the recent peace deal made between Tigray and the federal government of Ethiopia, the story has quoted the letter's Minister of Health analysis on the future tasks and scenarios. Ethiopian Minister of Health in Ethiopia, Tadese, told the state media that the health facilities were targeted throughout the way, leaving people vulnerable despite previous investment. Garo Online quoted the minister as saying that the status of healthcare is also deplorable in other parts, especially in the Oromia and Benishangul Gumuz regions due to conflicts. Dr. Leah indicated that there is a data limitation from Tigray and her ministry needs more explanations, but quoted the data collected from NGOs, at least $1.4 billion is needed to restore health facilities damaged due to war and conflicts across Ethiopia. She added, while data from the Tigray region remains scantily, the ministry noted that a total of 3,666 health institutions and facilities have been destroyed in conflict-affected areas of Amhara, Afar, Oromia, and Benishangul Gumuz regions, and most of the destroyed health centers are in Tigray. The UN report released in May this year revealed that through Western Oromia alone, 426 health facilities were non-functional due to looting, destructions, and violence. The US Today reports that despite the difficulty in getting clear numbers, it approximated that over 600,000 civilians and combatants have been killed. In addition, last year, a report to Doctors Without Borders or Médecins Sans Frontières (MSF) out of 106 health facilities visited by the MSF team in the Tigray region from mid-December 2020 to early March 2021, nearly 70% had been looted and more than 30% had been damaged. According to this report, health facilities in most areas appear to have been deliberately vandalized to render them non-functional. In many health centers, such as in Debre Abai and Mai Kuhli, in northern and northwestern Tigray, the damage was immense. The team members have found the facilities and equipment destroyed, smashed doors and windows, and medicines and patient files scattered across the floor. Tigray forces commander says disarmament linked to Eritarian Amhara forces withdrawal. Tigrayan forces top military leader Lieutenant General Tadese Werede said the disarmament of heavy weapons of Tigrayan combatants or Tigrayan military forces is linked to Eritarian and Amhara forces withdrawal from Tigray region. In his recent interview aired on the local Tigray TV, The general said implementation of the agreement has commenced on Tigrayan side following the discussion held in Nairobi between himself and the chief commander of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, ENDF. According to Addis Standard News, the general indicated his fighters have been debriefed on disarmament protocols and that their disengagement will follow within the next 2 to 3 days. On the activities directly related to our works, we are finalizing with the Army, finalizing orientation on the consensus about the peace from the Army commanders all the way to the lower level or ranks. We will probably finalize it completely in 2 days all the way to the bottom, Lieutenant General Tadese Werede said. He further stated the next steps and said that it will be followed by the Tigray Army's disengagement from the battlefront to the place where the army will be deployed. The general indicated as long as our logistics capacity or transporting capacity allows, we can also pick it up at once. Transporting may take few days, he added. Any Tigrayan forces in the region moves from within a command system, Lieutenant General Tadese said, adding that Tigray region does not have any forces outside of the established command system. There is no armed force other than this. The Ethiopian force in Tigray says the same thing, so I don't think there will be anything out of control. However, he mentioned that there are some things that are not clear in both documents that should be solved with accelerated political engagement. There is an administration in the region, he said, including small local administrations that are functioning in each zone, each district, and each kabale with an orderly people with its own administrative structure from the east or the south. My hope is for these administrative units to continue and not to be dismantled. It is the army that will disengage, Lieutenant General Tadese said, and adding that the civil administration will disengage. There is something to be done about existing security and police as an organization. That is something that needs to be resolved in the next political dialogue. The declaration on the modalities for the implementation of the Pretoria Agreement signed in Nairobi on the November 12, 2022, under clause 2.1, subarticle A, it dictates that orientation by the commanders for their respective forces will be taking place over the period of 7 days, starting the date of commander's arrival to the regular position on the 15th of November 2022. Whereas the second one that is stated in subarticle B states that this engagement will take place over a period of 4 days in 4 disengagement zones. In a similar development, Tigray's chief negotiator expressed his concern over the implementation of the peace process. Chief of the negotiating team from the Tigrayan side and spokesperson of the Tigray regional status, Gebremichael Reda, expressed his concern over the implementation of the peace process made with the government of Ethiopia. In his latest interview with BBC's Hard Talk, Gebremichael indicated that there were not adequate responses to the provisions agreed on the recent peace agreement. According to the spokesperson, though aid is not considered as the precondition, the flight's aid promises to the people of Tigray are not as promised and desired.
The whole idea of facilitation of aid should not have been part of a deal. And I don't consider it part of a deal. It is something that should have been done by the federal government without putting any conditions. And I'm not complaining that they have put it forward as a condition. But as things stand, despite the commitments by the international community, the kind of progress that we are seeing so far is nothing to write home about. We were expecting flights last week and today. Apparently, these flights have been cancelled.
In what he called as the painful concession, Gebremichael has elaborated that millions are in the brink of starvation and a swift and adequate response is needed. Asked about the disarmament and disengagement of Tigray forces, the spokesperson said that the federal authority institutions are controlled by the federal forces, while the regional authorities control regional matters, and things are and will be moving in accordance with the constitutional order. Getachew added the safety, security, and well-being of the people of Tigray are the preconditions for the whole process of the disarmament process, where the military personnel are effectively executing. Getachew further indicated that the Tigray forces are still in control of places in Tigray, including the capital Mekelle, and the disarmament process is taking place in accordance with the agreed modalities. Asked about the accountability and independent investigation on the crimes committed, the spokesperson and Tigrayan chief negotiator said that his authority is aware about the allegations and is willing to conduct the independent investigations. However, Getachew told the BBC's Hard Talk host Stephen John Sucker that his forces have never engaged in systematic crimes as opposed to the federal and Eritrean forces. Stephen has also asked rather tough questions pertaining to the peace deal and future prospects, challenges and opportunities during the remote and rare international interactions and appearances with Tigray officials. We will leave the rest of the program to be viewed by you, our listeners and viewers, at the BBC Hard Talk. Well, with that, we come to the end of the news for today. This has been UMD Media News with me, Shimelis M. Gebremichael. UMD's program come to you via Horn Broadcasting Services, HBS, and through different social media outlets like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Please do not forget to like and share our programs and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching and have a good one.